On this millennial review, I'm going to show you my experience with getting rid of all this black mold in my attic. Now, before we get going, it is really important for me to mention and make sure it's very clear. I'm not a professional. This is not a guide. This is purely my experience with the products that I used, and I want to show you how that went. But it's really important that you make sure that you get well educated or hire a professional to be able to take care of this job. So what we have here, this is my living room of my house, and I was going to replace the ceilings in the house. Now in doing so, I took down the ceiling, all the insulation, planning to do it much nicer than what was here before, and you can actually see I ended up coming across some really crazy and very thick black mold, or what appears to be black mold. I didn't have it tested because no matter what it is, we definitely want to get rid of it. But the reason this happened was they had insulation stuffed in down where the soffits are. And so I went ahead and got somebody to quote out this job. This room isn't that big. It's about 200 square feet. And to go through and take care of that stuff, as well as, there's some small markings of what appears to be mold, in the eaves, in other parts of the attic here. But they wanted $2,500 to get it done. And so I figured I should be able to figure it out. And I've already bought some products just to test whether or not I thought it was going to work. And you can see here, there's a huge difference. That used to be the same thick mold as what you have up there, and you can see that line of demarcation where it very clearly made a difference. So I went ahead and bought some more of it, and let me show you the product that I tested there, and then all of the equipment that I'm going to use to try to stay safe while doing this job. So what I've collected for products is going to be this stuff called RMR 86. It's a instant mildew and stain remover, and I'm going to use that to remove the stains as shown before by spraying this guy up onto that wall, and you can see how well the test sections worked. So I've gotten some bottles of this for about 200 square foot. It takes about a gallon of these, so I bought a bunch of them. The reason I bought them like this is I could get them off of Amazon really quickly. You can buy gallons through different supply stores, but I couldn't find one local. And then I'm going to go through with this cleaner and disinfectant. So this will totally disinfect the wood that used to have the stains on it. So I'll use that afterwards. Now I'm going to put all of that into this 1 gallon tank here. The RMR 86 first into the tank. Let everything go, then I'll dump the tank out and then go for the RMR 141. Now for safety, RMR's website recommends that you have a respirator and eye protection, which totally makes sense, as well as set up some ventilation, and I'll show you what I have there. But this is the important part. They say you want a 60-923, which is organic vapor as well as acid, and I think that's because you've got some bleach in the RMR 86. You also don't want the mold spores coming at you. So this will be important. Then I've gotten some goggles from 3M because I want to make sure that my eyes don't get messed up, and then heavy duty coveralls to put on and be able to go from there. So inside the affected room, I have everything covered in plastic that needs to be. I then also have one fan in the window here that'll turn on. I've got another open window to be able to be the vent to bring air in. And then on the other side of the room, I'm going to run a second fan, and this is going to allow to make sure that there's a draw of air going out, a place for the air to come from, and then you can see that plastic against the wall will start to inflate, and that's showing that air is pulling from the rest of the house, so I'm not going to have to worry about the mold going in towards the house. So we'll switch over to a voiceover here. I'm pouring in the RMR 86, which is going to be the mold and mildew remover. This is the stuff that I'm going to spray on the ceiling first, or on the underside of the roof boards. Now, gloved up, got respirator, all that stuff on, because at this point we're handling chemicals and we want to be super safe. So just make sure that you follow what the guidelines are and what you think is right here. Again, this is a look at my experience, not a guide, so just keep that in mind. So we'll fill up this HDX sprayer, and as it fills up, the next step is really just going to be, pumping it up, getting the sprayer ready, and taking it inside. So now we're inside of the house, just beginning the spray, making sure that the sprayer is doing a nice wide pattern or wide fan to it. And at this point, you just want to make sure that you're pretty liberally coating all of the underside of this board. As you can see, you're starting to see some small effects happen as I'm spraying, but it does take a few minutes. And instead of boring you to death, I'm going to go ahead and speed this up 10x. It is pretty incredible to see this already starting to eat up that mold. I mean, it's pretty amazing. You're not having to scrub, and it's making it come back looking like blonde, fresh wood. Alright, so we're back to normal speed there. It's time to spin the camera around, start on the other side of the house. So this side is not nearly as affected. I'm not sure if that's a temperature thing because of the way that the sun hits the rooftop of the house. Maybe there was better venting on this side of the house. This is all kind of the stuff I'm not totally sure of, but definitely a difference on this side of the house. It's not nearly as moldy, but still plenty to take care of. So we'll go ahead, get this going at 10x speed again, and you'll really see the changes as it happens. It's pretty incredible to see this take forth and make a difference. So now I've got a pretty nice treat for you. So I found a good way to get this caught on camera. And this is 10x speed, but you're seeing it start to finish, watching that RMR 86 start to eat away and kill the mold. And it's pretty incredible. So this is after applying about a gallon up there. You can't quite hear me. Didn't know what I was thinking with that respirator on that you might be able to hear. But this is looking like some really fresh blonde wood. Now, there's definitely going to be some more work to be done, no doubt, but take a look at that. So it's time to get just a little bit more of this fluid put into that sprayer and go back through and catch any of the small spots that I may have missed. Now, for some reason on the outside flat wall, even with that spray, it left kind of this thick residue or some sort of material, I guess you might call it, but definitely into the wood a bit more than I would have preferred. So at this point, this is really the only place that I had to do some scrubbing. So I'm going to spray this down with the RMR 86 a bit more, and then I'm just taking a pretty basic scrubbing tool, in which case I'm going to start scrubbing against the wood here and start to clean it up a bit more. Here we are doing the final detail work, just going through, making sure every little spot's been covered. For this 200 some odd square foot room, I think I'm into this about an hour and a half or so. it's definitely a bit of work. I mean, it's not nearly as bad as if you had to scrub the whole thing. I mean, this product seems to make a difference, but it's sweaty. You get a lot of stuff going around. It's hard work, but saves you a ton of money. So with all the staining removed, I feel pretty good about how it looks. So now it's time to put the RMR 141 into the sprayer, and we're going to want to liberally apply this all over. And we're going to want to liberally apply this the affected areas in the attic. This is going to disinfect and also help inhibit mold growth into the future. It's helpful when you're not holding a camera. That way you won't spill this all over the place. There you go. Pump it up and let's give it a shot. Unfortunately here, there's really not too much to see. This stuff goes on clear, and what you just need to be really sure about is that you're covering all of the wood. So all of the area that you use that RMR 86 on, we now need to be covering with the RMR 141. And that's going to help inhibit regrowth as you go through. So I'm going to do all of the small spots, the hard to reach places first, and then I'm going to make sure that I do a healthy coating on all the much more visible and easier spots to see. So just keep going through, and it's starting to come out well. So after a night of drying, this is what it looks like in the attic, and you can see that there were significant improvements made. I mean, this is so much better than before. All back there was all that black mold. You can see there's a section here that I need to go over again and hopefully with a brush be able to clean that up. But this, it almost looks like blonde fresh wood. And then on this side, you can see this was where the real significant buildup of black mold was, and that's all gone. Well, thanks everyone for watching my experience of going from that to this. It's a pretty big difference, and compared to the $2,500 bill that the mold remediation company wanted to charge, and just how well this came out, I feel like it was worth doing. Now, if you want to give this a shot yourself, of course I've got links down in the description. Help me earn back what I spent to make this happen. But do keep in mind this was an experience, not a guide, so make sure that you take the proper safety precautions and do it safely for yourself, do it legally, all that good stuff. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, as well as leave me a thumbs up, and let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below.